How far would you go to protect your loved ones? To prove your worth to them? How far are you willing to push yourself in the name of retaining your humanity? What would it take to get you to sacrifice it willingly? Would you hurt others? Hurt yourself? Would you break the heart of the very person you swore to keep safe? Would you break the world? Would you kill God? This is the story of one man as he fights against the currents of his better nature to remain the protector he believes himself to be. This is the story of a mortal as he is pushed to the edge of his morality, as he is pushed to seek punishment against the gods for their crimes against their creation, against him. This is Godkiller Retribution. You're waiting. You're waiting as instructed for Etuvar to return. With every second, I can only imagine your anxiety sort of building and building. How long do you wait before you try to do something on your own?
Seconds. I think as soon as he's gone, I begin to get dressed frantically, quickly, which is not alien to me at this point. And I grab my weapon, and I look back at the mirror that I was first trying to call him from initially, and I just shout up into the room, just echoing. I say, "You can find me anywhere. I don't need to wait here." And then I get as far as the door, throw it open, and then realize I have no idea who to go to here. And there's a helplessness just standing there, thinking I've already reached out to the only person I can think of, and the person most equipped to do something, anything. And I think there's this sobering moment where I have to accept that a god does probably know better here. And I actually do as I'm told and go back into the room.
Okay. And so I think I can take that to mean that you're doing the move, do as you're told?
You know, initially, I meant it literally. But, yes, I think I will.
When you do as you're told, say how you show submission and answer one. The GM will show you a glimpse of their true intentions as they answer the other. How are you rewarded? And what vulnerability do you reveal?
The vulnerability is actually feeling helpless in this moment. The idea of reaching out to a god is so unfathomable and has been for so long that doing so and meaning it is an odd feeling that sort of freezes me almost into inaction, because I could not have imagined a situation that I couldn't just handle myself. And the first thing I did was call to Etuvar. And barring that, don't know what else to do, who else to go to. The vulnerability is that I don't know what to do when I don't know what to do.
And the way you are rewarded is not necessarily a reward coming from and doing as you're told by him, but it's more that as you wait for him, it's probably been about 30 seconds of waiting. It's giving you the time to suss out your new body. And you feel a strength layered atop what you already had. And you noticed in this heightened anxiety space that it's not that you don't have a heartbeat anymore. It's just your heart now beats at a rate that is so slow. It's almost like death. But since waking up and now getting dressed frantically, almost running out the door, you're noticing a very slow, maybe 20 beats per minute heartbeat. And there's something else trying to sneak its way up to your throat, a sort of crawling, scratching, nagging feeling that starts at the bottom of your ribs and is trying to spread upwards. It's like the first inclination that you're hungry. And so in this 30 seconds, you're able to take stock of how your new body, at least in these little ways, how it functions, and feel yourself and ground yourself in your new body, in your new state.
Is there something in the room that seems a little bit fragile? Something that might break if thrown, but would take a decent amount of force?
There are a lot of glass items, like thick glass items, like thick glass inkwells and stuff like that. I think there is maybe just a pure glass orb paperweight on the vanity that Seraphine was working on when you last saw her.
I pick it up and I throw it as hard as I can against the wall to test my own strength.
It almost explodes into just a cloud of fine mist as it impacts against the wall.
My mouth tries to smile as a gut reaction, but my heart forces it into a snarl. That will do.
And as you say that to yourself, the room begins to shake like an earthquake. Things begin to rattle and hit against themselves. They get jiggled off of the vanity as the force of the ground moving throws them to the floor. And then it gets very bright. Brighter than anything you have ever seen. Brighter than when Hilari first gave you the full sight of the gods. A blinding brightness. that fills the room and spills out into the hallway, and then gets dimmer and dimmer and dimmer as you realize that it's a moving brightness that's moving northward. And then about 3 seconds go by. And it sounds like an explosion has gone off. Distant, but still very audible through the walls of this room. And you hear, similarly to this moving brightness, a sort of Doppler effect scream of a woman wailing in agony. And then an even stronger shake rocks the room. It's maybe only 3 or 4 times back and forth that you're sort of rocked on your feet as you try to stay upright. And then Etuvar, in a roiling wind of cold, is in the room with you. He's bleeding profusely, a slash over his eye. He's holding his gut, breathing heavily, and blood is dripping on the floor in a pool around him. Hilari, she killed him. What do you do?
Sit, or if not, tell me who to bring you to. You can die, can you be healed?
And as Etuvar opens his mouth to respond, you both hear the running of footsteps coming up from the hallway. And in a skidding sort of motion, you see Eva brace against the door, knock into it, and takes in the sight of what they see.
He was in a fight, I don't know the details, but he needs healing, now.
Where is my mistress? What happened?
I don't know.
You don't know? You don't know? Okay. And you see that there's a lot of information going on in their head. They know you have your weapon out. They know that some sort of natural disaster has happened. They see their god bleeding in front of you, and their mistress is gone. And I think there's always that bit of hope in this kind of scenario where you think, oh, this person will be logical and wait and talk it out and come to a conclusion that will not be against me. But that's not what happens. And you see Eva's face contort into something, and they have a little kitchen knife that they keep tucked in their boot. And they pull it out, and they point it at you, and they say, "What did you do with Mistress Seraphine?"
I get as close as I am able to, with my weapon sheathed and hands up, hopefully so that only they can hear. I think they were taken by Vosh, and I don't know how many agents, emissaries, spies. I don't know how many of them there are, even here within these walls. Frankly, I don't even know you well enough to trust yet. But if you're going to try and stop me from finding the one responsible, then that is a risk I am willing to take.
Trust me? Trust me? You're the new one here. And they go to push you back into the room. But they are mortal still. They are not strong enough to, at least comparatively strong enough, to do any real damage to you with a simple shove. And I think they overestimate their strength. The adrenaline gets to them. And so as they go to push you, you aren't right in front of them, like right up in their space. So they do have to move forward a little bit, surge forward to try to push you. And that throws them off balance, and they begin to trip and fall. And as they fall into the room, two things happen at once. Immediately, Etuvar shoots up and screams, "Don't touch my blood!" And as they move past you, move into your space and begin to move past you, that scratching, gnawing, clawing feeling erupts into like a full body burn. You begin salivating against your will as you can practically hear the blood pumping in Eva's neck. You realize that that hunger is no longer a growing sort of pang that will need to be addressed. It is now a compulsion, as you have not been fed yet.
I take a few very decisive steps back. I have just spent time and blood proving myself most worthy for this job, this responsibility, protecting her above all others. And I have chosen to do so. Now, I don't know if any of you knew that my job would extend to protecting her from the gods themselves. But if there is one among you who does know why, would I be correct in assuming that I would be the one to be told yes or no? Allow me to do my job or continue with nothing. No answers, no momentum. Your god lies injured and dying in front of you, and you question me in such a way. We don't have time. She certainly doesn't.
You're right. We don't have time. We need to go. And he winces, and the blood that was pooling on the floor, creeping towards a now terrified Eva, is vanished away. But you see, it brings him some pain. We can decide on the way, on where we need to go. But we need to leave now. And he sort of, with the arm that isn't clutching his side, he sort of extends his bent elbow out for you to take.
I do. And as I begin to walk with him, I'm desperately trying to shake off this feeling. I do not like it. And I just say to him, quietly, "Just this once I will forgive how long it took you to rush to my defense on account of your mortal wound."
There's a burbling laugh that escapes his lips. and you both walk maybe 3 steps before you're in a howling void of ice and blackness. And you hear his voice cut through it all. Where do we go? Do you know anything about where she is?
No, all I know is that it was Vosh.
Disgusting creature.
Although... And I look around, pretty certain that I don't want anyone else to hear this. But the origins of my ability are somewhat clearer now. Perhaps Give me a moment. And I will attempt a divination ability for the first time.
So, this would count as wielding a power. When you wield a power to do something only a god can, roll 2d6. Add 1 for each true statement. You've done this specific act before perfectly. No. You're desperate for this to work. Are you desperate?
Yeah.
Then mark 1 strain. You had 2 because of your fight with Sirion. You're going to be at 3. You're close to a shrine, lair, or domain of the god you took this power from. Not a shrine, a lair, or domain per se, but the resting place, yes. So I'm gonna give you that one. So roll 2d6 and add 2.
That's going to be a 12 total.
Oh, okay. On an overkill 10 plus, the GM will describe how you also drain, terrify, or wreck what's around you. Okay. So here's what happens. As you're traveling through this howling void with Etuvar, you can feel your hand on his arm. And you're unsure if he's going to see what you see. But what you see are similar to what you've seen before, a number of flashes of possibility, of choices you could make. You are certain that each one of them will lead you farther down the path to finding Seraphine, to getting to where you want to go. But it's kind of up to you to interpret and make a choice. You see, flashing in your mind, an image of Laka from the POV of when you walked through it on your way to the capital. You see a river town, a cabin right by the river's edge, and you see fishing poles staked into the ground, waiting for a bite. And then your mind flashes to specific people. You see Essie sitting on her porch. You see a lilac-skinned woman with a silver afro that covers her eyes in twinkling, deep purple and blue dress embroidered with silver. You see a red-skinned person burning pink eyes. Their shape is the fuzziest in this vision. But you see what looked to be some sort of wings. And then once again, you see a fishing pole. They're holding it. But they're not using it like a fishing pole. They're just sort of swinging it around as if they're conducting music. And the thing that you wreck, drain, or terrify is the power that emanates off of you as you search through space, through Etuvar's self-teleportation, is that you lose him. Your power creates a sort of wave that pushes you off of him. And now you are tumbling through this void, grasping for a place to land. Where do you choose to land?
Is my understanding of this physical? Do I have reason to believe that I'm going to punch through possibility and land somewhere solid wherever I want? Or am I trying to find purchase in a vision?
You get the sense that whatever vision, wherever or whoever you latch onto in your mind, you will end up wherever that is.
Well, none of them were her. And that is the thing that's ringing in my mind, but it's like none of them were her. Is this a situation where I would be able to recognize a god? Because it seems like at least two of these individuals have extraordinary qualities. Could I try to identify the person conducting?
I think you could if you weren't actively tumbling end over end in a seemingly endless howling void. This is like a split-second decision you have to make.
In that case, I don't think I understand the mechanics enough for it to really be a choice, so much as it is my own thoughts getting scrambled around with all of these images. And I would say that I'm the most immediately intrigued by this conductor doing something artful with something mundane and survivalist, which is something very real for me, something that I relate to on a very deep level. So I don't choose that image. I just linger on it long enough that that's the direction I'm pulled.
And the thing about magic is that it is largely based on intention. So while you did not actively choose this direction, the fact that you paid enough attention to it is what makes it stick. And I'm going to have you roll 2 more d6 as a little bit of a luck roll as you come out of this teleportation magic that wasn't even yours to begin with.
3.
A 3. You are just dipping your toes into the world of the gods and their magic. You previously were not a magical man. And while you are very strong now, you have a newfound constitution, you are at 3 strain. And while you won't take any more strain from this, you do fall flat on your face as you're sort of vomited out of this little pocket warp of time and reality. And as you get up, you notice that you are by the river. You don't see that cabin you saw in your vision, but you know you must be somewhere in the middle of the continent, because this river is wide. It is almost all-encompassing. You can almost not see the other side. And anyone who lives in this world, whether they've been to this river or not, would still know that this is the Great River that cuts across the entire continent and turns it into a large section of islands, technically.
I stand up, brush myself off a little bit, just look around. I think the first thing I would look for is wildlife. That's the first thing if I'm in a new outdoor environment to sort of ground myself. It's like, what living sounds am I hearing? And can I see what's making them?
You're looking around for animals, and that hunger is still there. It's still cloying. It's still demanding. And you spot what looks to be like a little family of rabbits just hopping by. And your heartbeat quickens. It reaches a pace that previously you had only felt as a mortal when you would exercise or when you would be stressed. And everything is screaming at you to go after these rabbits, to feed.
I need to clarify regarding the word family.
Mm-hmm.
Are there little ones? Or is it just a group of rabbits?
It's just a group of rabbits.
How far?
Maybe about 12 to 15 feet from you.
Without giving it much thought, I just throw my spear like a javelin.
And, you know, you are inflicting violence, not on a person, but on something. So I'm going to have you roll for it.
Well, may I ask, though, could this be acting impulsively? Because it is just immediately obeying an impulse.
You know, I will allow it. All right. When you act impulsively, describe the emotion that drives you and answer one. The GM will tell you something you didn't notice until now as they answer the other. What advantage do you seize, and what trouble hits you hard and fast?
The advantage is surprise. I just appeared. I have the drop on them, and the natural advantage that this is literally what I do. On a normal day, I wouldn't think twice about this, just providing for my former village. And so I would say I succeed, I get one, and I immediately am brought back to earth a bit, because the familiarity ends with the kill. What I would do next is a well-understood routine that is not the next thing that needs to happen. Now it becomes very clinical, very analytical. This is a test. And in my mind, I'm just thinking, am I going to enjoy this? Is it going to taste right? Will my body and my senses have adjusted to this? What happens emotionally when a craving is satisfied? How long will it last? Like, it just... thinking about all of these things while just trying to truly drain the... for lack of a more elegant way to put it, just drain the blood from it like water from it being wrung from a towel, just into my mouth, because it was a clean kill.
Naturally. And the other half of the advantage that you seize, because you immediately do feed on this rabbit, is that you clear one strain. As you finally give your new body what it's asking for. And you can feel some of that mental and even a little bit of the physical damage that you took from fighting Sirion. You feel a little bit better. Your mind is more at ease. But what hits you hard and fast is that you were so caught up in the intellectualizing and then indulging of this feeding. And you didn't notice that someone was watching you the whole time. And what alerts you to their presence is just a maniacal giggle that comes from right behind you. Gina, would you like to describe what Vos sees as he whips around to face you?
You hear me before you truly see me. The lilting melody of a circus lullaby, the hum of dragonflies' wings, the rustle of fabrics, expensive and satin, singing in a language you don't understand. Is that language? It sounds more like a laugh than any known dialect or language you know. But you see me, Chara, goddess of chaos, the unseen edge, a shifting mask, the first to pierce the divine, floating not more than a few feet from you, on the edge of this river, waving a crudely constructed fishing pole, seemingly stolen from someone's camp, like a conductor's wand, giggling with glee, raising the water's surface and reversing this river's flow, plucking small fish from it and helping them to fly, their terrified eyes gleaming in the sun. And after a moment, with a lackadaisical shrug, just as quickly as it started, I drop the fishing rod and the water falls. The fish rain back into the river, and with a wave of my hand, I dismiss the blurred illusion around me so you can see me more fully. Femme and coquettish, with ruby red skin that shines with an iridescence, thick and waved periwinkle hair with streaks of cerulean, two blood-black horns that curve backward, and bright, burning pink eyes. I'm dressed as one's first night at the circus might feel, ethereal and mystical, full of whimsy and confusion, terror and delight. And as you look at me from this delightful mess you've made, blood still on your face and a little on your shirt, I smile. And you can see my teeth are brilliant, white and sharp at the canines. Oh, you delightful boy. What have you done? And I snap my fingers, and you feel the rabbit still in your hands begin to wriggle and writhe and scream.
Without hesitation, I reach up lightning fast, pull my spear from its sheath, and try to put the creature out of its misery.
Oh, relax. And I snap my fingers again, and it falls limp in your hands.
I drop it to the ground and contemplate placing my other hand on the other end of the spear in its familiar grip where it belongs. But I don't. Instead, I keep the spear in my hand, but instead of readying it, simply hold it at my side, tucked up under my arm, waiting. And I just breathe. One very long exhale, almost rolling my eyes before finally speaking. You must forgive my impertinence. I do not know you. But in the past minutes, I have lost my dearest love to a decaying corpse of a god. I have been accused. I have been catapulted across the fabric of I don't even know what, ending up gods know where. And I have just drunk a rabbit like it was a cup of coffee. So you must understand that I am in no mood for games. Why am I here?
Well, I was hoping that you would be able to tell me that you stumbled upon me. How interesting.
Is it? Do you know them? Do you know? Do you know Seraphine? Is that why I'm here?
Seraphine. And you watch me tilt my head at an unusual angle in thought. A performance of curiosity, and my eyes roll back to you. No, I don't believe I do.
Then if you would kindly please get the introductions over with and send me to someone who does.
My. You don't seem very fun at all. But there is something to be done about this little interlude we find ourselves in. It has been some time since I have stumbled upon a mortal with such potential for and I pause as I'm searching for the word and look you over. You, there is a part of you that's new, and I flit a little bit closer to you and regard you, my eyes burning with a fuchsian flame like a circus tent on fire, and you catch a whiff of, is that smoke? Before I bring a hand to your cheek and rake one nail across it in a gesture of admiration and dominance. There is a part of you that's new and a part of you that's missing. Is this Seraphine the part of you that's missing, or is it something else? And I snap my fingers, and in my hand appears a tarot card, the Lovers. And as I do, just for a moment, you see my face change into that of the one you love. And I say, would you do anything for me?
Twice over I have answered that question. Twice over, she has taken a cup of nothing and filled it with everything that matters. Please. And I close my eyes and squeeze them, trying to push past this and find reality, try to will myself back to whatever tunnel of possibility I just fell out of into this place, feeling very much like a trapped animal, and opening my eyes again, realizing that that's probably not going to happen, and I'm here for the foreseeable future. I put my weapon fully away. Hold my hands at my sides, turning them over, palms facing you. Are you going to help me? Do you need something from me? I know that all of your gazes are upon me. I don't know what any of you want except for one, maybe two. And I don't know what has just happened. And you see a look of horror cross my face. Suddenly able to recall something that was kind of in the background of my world for a moment there, as I was only thinking about one person, but there was a wave of destruction before this happened, and I still don't know anything about it. And it's almost as though I'm seeing it for the first time.
You do recall something that Etuvar said while still in Seraphine's room. She killed him.
Now, do I have the context of what happens when a god dies?
Yes, you would know that when a god dies, their body falls to the earth. It's happened with Aisho. It's happened with Osaki. And now it's happened with Sirion. And those gods falling to the earth, creating earthquakes, tsunamis, affecting the weather, each time it happens, wipes out swaths of mortals, which was the whole impetus for the Ruby Calling, for the noble houses to recoup their losses.
In which case, you can watch behind Vos's eyes as he takes this horror, potentially global horror, and puts 99.99% of it on a shelf somewhere in his heart that is still able to take the weight, and hyper-focuses back forcibly, more forcibly than he would like to have to. Alright. You said I stumbled into your domain.
This is not my domain, silly boy.
Then stumbled into you. I think I perhaps know why.
Oh, I do love a story. And you watch me hover in the air but cross my legs as if I am in a seated position, waiting, eyes bright.
You are right that there is something new about me, something not mine, something I would gladly give up if I could.
Did you steal it?
I didn't think so. I thought I had found it. But the power, I have used it these many years, but now there is something else. An understanding, not an understanding, a searching. That's what I did. I tried to search, to see beyond my eyes, and I was looking for her, and instead I saw such images. I was like I was being pulled through a tunnel of light and sound. I saw people. The images are already beginning to fade, but I was grasping at them, and I saw you with your fishing rod. I saw you like a conductor, like making music out of something many would consider mundane, an aspect of survival, sustenance, and art, embracing. I saw this and I felt a surge of empathy, understanding. This is a part of who I was, who I hope that I still am and will be again. And though I do not know you, I thought I recognized that beautiful intersection. For lack of any other mechanism to control whatever was happening, I think that's why I was pulled to you. And so I give you the benefit of the doubt. What do you ask of me?
And here we meet at the intersection of chaos and possibility. And with another snap of my fingers, the space around us changes. We're no longer at the river's edge, that you can tell, but inside a tent of luxurious fabrics, crimsons and golds and indigos that seem to shift as if alive, the ceiling curving upward into a high star-dappled ceiling with moving constellations, a massive circular rug with dancing beasts and flame and moons, and numerous plush throw pillows and cushions sitting atop of it. The sound of rushing water is no longer in your ears. The crickets have stopped. The chirping birds have ceased their singing, replaced by lilting chimes and carnival music. So, you do not know who I am, but I suppose that you can guess. I have something that can help you. You search for this love of yours, this Seraphine? It seems as if someone has your lover and you want her back, is that correct?
In simplest terms, yes. Which, by the way, I appreciate.
You've come to the right girl. I've been bored. What an opportunity for the both of us. Sowing political discord and reminding mortals of their fallibility is fine for a while. Making fish fly, causing lovers to argue, reversing time, reversing language. All of that is easy. But you want something more too. I can smell it on you. You crave vengeance. Though you wouldn't admit it. Change. Disruption. Punishment. How delightful. I can help you with this. The one who has her. Vosh. Am I right? Did I guess correctly?
Oh, yes. And frankly, I would gladly admit to a desire for vengeance at this exact moment. Vengeance is, distasteful as it may be, perhaps more palatable than fresh blood. And it is so very mortal. I would take it.
I lean closer to you. Vosh seeks an unequal balance. They feel cheated. And they will never rest until they get what they want. My question is, why do they want her so badly?
I think Vosh feels cheated. That in becoming a vampire,
Oh. How curious. To choose unlife must have been either an exercise in mortality or, some sort of spite? Why would she choose such a thing?
I do not mean to be impolite to my host, but I do not believe it had anything to do with any god. It was part desperation, part brilliance, understanding that there was one way for her light to continue to shine on this world. I did not understand it at the time, but believe me, I do now. Better than ever. I wipe some of the blood away.
So, this intersection of chaos and possibility, how divine. And I regard you more closely, moving close enough for you to smell that lingering smoke, now mixed with clove. And I move behind you as I say, I sense that seed of power in you. How delectable. It paints a target on your back. But it can be useful here too.
Now, Vos, you said you don't know this person. I think you would at least recognize Chara's general description from the very basic research that you did in your travels. But how much do you think you would have learned about Chara, what she is reportedly like, and how this relates to the now very seemingly predatory nature of this interaction?
There's something that she said that was a trigger for the exact moment that I understood who she was. And it was when she said, making lovers fight. That statement, said so casually and from my perspective with pride, made me remember, as I was again doing that somewhat cursory research, finding that there was a god who dealt in such things, in manipulating the love shared between people, especially romantic love, would have made her a god that I would have dismissed above all others. Because I believe, more than I believe most things, that if an outside influence, be it God or just another person, can infect your heart and change the way you feel about another, your heart is weak and your love is not real. And I would have simply turned the page on that book and never given her another thought until this moment.
And so, now that he is faced with this reality, what is going through your mind as you listen to her sort of talk about how delectable you are and how she can help you?
I perhaps foolishly assume that she can read what is in my heart. And I am forcing myself to feel and think about how strong my love for Seraphine is. Trying almost to put up a wall, projecting it as loudly, though internally, as possible. Trying to let it creep into my face, but how those emotional muscles on my face they're still rusty. But I'm trying so hard.
Oh, you sweet boy. Are you nervous? And I move back around to face you. There's nothing to be afraid of. I'm here to help. I believe our goals are aligned. Isn't that something?
I hope so. And please, it would help me a great deal if I was afraid. Actually,
that would be fun.
I reach into the sort of beneath my poncho to a pocket within, and I pull out a perfectly smooth, round, flat stone, a skipping stone. And I simply hold it up, out to you, offering it to you. And I say, please, would you tell me this one thing? It will help, and our negotiation can continue from this point. What do you think of this?
I reach out to take it, if you'll allow me. I hold it in my hand. What is it that I'm holding? Is it simply a stone, or is there anything more to it?
It is simply a stone. It is truly untouched in terms of its composition by any person. It was not carved by anything but water and time. It is simply perfection born of nature. Just a rock.
And you ask me what this is?
I ask you what you think of it. What does it make you feel?
Huh. I think you watch her face shift just for a moment. In this being one of the very few times anyone has ever asked her what she feels. What do I feel? And I look down at the stone, turn it in my hand. The possibilities of this stone are endless. It can be whatever you want it to be, whatever anyone else believes it to be, it can be. You tell someone it wards away the gods, they will believe it. You tell someone it is imbued with magic, and they will act as if it is so. Their interpretations of what you tell them it is are endless. It may merely be a stone, but what is merely anything but what you intend it to be?
Well then, I bow my head ever so slightly, but keep my eyes level with yours. Chara, I believe I would like to do business.
Good boy. I snap my fingers, and in my hands suddenly appears a twisted spearhead. One that looks like two intertwining glass horns, one blood red and one sapphire blue, the edges glittering in gold, and in the center of the two, one flickering bright pink flaming eye. You wish to eliminate Vosh. For vengeance, for love. I am deadly bored. You offer me an opportunity.
I'm sorry, is that a request? Or a statement of fact?
You say you do not know me. Perhaps I will offer a bit of my own tale. A long time ago, I was cursed. Do you know how long eternity is? To not be able to do the things you love, to not be able to enjoy yourself fully. To never be able to kill another god by my own hands, and yet here you stand, wanting to kill one for me.
And as she says that, there's something that clicks in your mind from the very brief reading you did on Chara. The words Chara, curse, own hand. And you realize that Chara was the first to kill another god. Aisho, the god of magic at the time. The first god to die, the first god to fall to the earth. Crashing into the ocean and awakening the volcano known as the Maw. Imla the Breath and Farir the Dancer were able to save the eastern shore. Save Yali, save the Udanu Mountains. But 60 years ago, Chara started something.
Perhaps I owe you an apology then. I may have misjudged you.
So many do. Vosh will never let her go without a fight. But with this, you can make it so that Vosh never steals your love again. Their pride and haughty superiority, the only true balance is unbridled chaos.
I'm going to try something here. This story, it rings in my ears and crawls through my body and into my heart, and I do truly feel it. And I do not hide my emotions well when they reach my face. There is nothing I can do about it. And here, plainly, is empathy and, unfortunately, pity. And I say, I am new to eternity. It is only my first day of forever. But the thought that eats at me is to walk this world for all of its remaining days and all of mine, not having the one thing that I chose this for, not having her. And you are now, if my math is correct, I believe the 5th of your kind that I have met, most of them very recently, and also possibly the 6th if you count the one that lives within me, but it's not important, not important. I simply wish to say that I have had a very specific approach in my dealings with the likes of you. And it is that I believe, until I am shown otherwise, you are people. You love, you hate, you bicker, you fight, and yes, you kill. If you are insulted by my lack of deference, please understand, it is only my only way of understanding you as best as I can. And I see you and what you have started. You were the first one, really, if I think about it, to prove right my hypothesis. I would like to attempt to connect with Jara.
Ooh. Okay. When you try to connect with someone, tell them something intimate and answer one. Chara will reveal a fragment of their pain as they answer the other. What common ground do we share, and what still divides us?
The common ground, that was it. That speech, that understanding. I believe, at least, that that is the common ground that we share.
And what still divides us is that you get a sense that while the love that you hold for Seraphine is deeply and unequivocally returned, Chara worries that the love she holds for the one closest to her may be conditional.
To be a being with isolating power, largely misunderstood by others and not of their choice. I find myself chasing all feeling. That's all I have done since I have, well, I was going to say come here, but I don't know where here is anymore, but every feeling, good or bad, I am trying to reawaken in myself. And they are all so beautiful, aren't they?
You speak of reawakening feeling and diving into them. Can you imagine the coursing, electric vitality of draining the divinity from another god? I have felt it before. Wouldn't you like to?
There is a dark, unfamiliar hunger that creeps up behind Vos's eyes. And it's for something distant, something he is still trying to understand, and it's holding hands with the vampiric hunger. But not enough to create an understanding that I can grasp at. But I admit in this moment, of all of the gods I have met so far, you are the first I might truly consider offering my worship.
We understand each other. And I reach out and I take your hand, if you'll let me, and I bring it to the spearhead, pressing your palm against it. With this, you can bring her back to you and only you, if she wills it. With this, you can kill a god.
And you can feel the power radiating from this spearhead into you, but also from Chara into the spearhead. And it's only a fraction of her total power. But your hand making contact with this spearhead feels like it's being stung with 100 bees.
And as that happens, you watch the pink eye in the center flame just a little more.
Amazing.
One condition, though. Their power is mine. You get your love back, and I get their power. Deal?
Perhaps the easiest deal of my life. I care not for their power. And as this is not really anything that I would be loath to give you, I feel that it is perhaps an unfair deal. Allow me to offer even more to aid my conscience somewhat. When I bury this in Vosh's fetid heart, you have my full permission to watch.
And I point to the eye in the center of the spearhead. I like to watch.
That works out. I like to act.
Now you be a good boy and go kill a god. And I hand you the spearhead fully.
And it is only the head, right? There is no... Can I, here in this moment, affix it to my own spear? I'll keep one side, because it is double-sided. Mm-hmm. I will keep one side. The side that has the feathers tied to it, with its original head that I carved myself. And the other side will be this. And I hold it in one hand, like a scale. And I allow it to balance perfectly there. What is mine and what is divine. My hand in the center. And I close my hand around it. Let's get to work.
And I snap my fingers again, and the tent disappears, and we are still in front of the river.
I'm sorry, I thought you were going to send me, should I don't know where I am.
Oh, sweet boy. I can't bring you to them. But I do know where they might be. All that death up north. Probably a good place to start.
Well, it's just as well. I do not wish to be greedy. Ma'am?
Godspeed.
Yes, quite. Yeah. Begin walking.
And remember, I call out to you, if you take too long, I'll know.
Oh, yes. So will I, unfortunately. I'll keep walking.
And I flip back to the river's edge, pick up my fishing pole, and begin plucking fish out of the river once again.
As I walk away, knowing that Etuvar can always hear me, I say aloud to the sky, to him, "Now you see, old man, that's how you make a deal." Anyway, reach out to me when you can. I'm here.
Godkiller Retribution is a Chance Encounters production. Your GM, producer, sound designer, and editor is myself, Asteria. The voice of Vos, our Godkiller, is Ian Frost. Chara, goddess of chaos and magic, was voiced by Gina Susanna. Check out her work as Everhalassian from Blackwater D&D's Godkiller Balance, as well as her work on The Heart is a Dungeon, The Panic Table, and so much more. Godkiller First Blood Edition is by Connie Chung, available on itch.io for purchase. Music provided by Ian Frost and Monument Studios. See you next time, lovers. And you don't get to know if he responds to that or not. Not yet. Wow! Yay!
That was amazing.
That was amazing.
fun.
Yeah, that was
I
so
was
fun.
locked in, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
What a
Locked
voice.
in.
Goddamn.